Hello, a warm welcome to the discussion segment today on the program. On our special discussion segment, we'll be featuring a five-time Olympian. Well, she's very popular when it comes to table tennis, a Nigerian African champion over the years in table tennis, making Nigeria proud, winning laurels for the country. But she has switched gear into para sports, para swimming, to be very, very precise. Of course, you know the name, Bose Kaffo. Of course, very five-time Olympian when it comes to table tennis in Nigeria, but now doing so much for para swimming. For the first time, they organized the Governor's Para Swimming Classics. Of course, at the National Stadium, Lagos, they had a 4-day scientific training for the swimmers and also a swimming championship. I had 40 athletes, para athletes, featuring in that competition. Bose Kaffo is the vice president of the Nigerian Para Swimming Federation for the very first time as a para swimming administrator in Nigeria. Welcome to our studio, Bose Kaffo.
Thank you for having me here.
From table tennis, we know all what you've achieved for the country. For the past years in table tennis, 5-time Olympics, you went for Nigeria, made the country proud, but now you switched to para sport. What brought out that change for you?
I want to be grateful and thankful to National Association of Women in Sport in Nigeria. So I came through that avenue because we actually have members for the able-bodied and members for the para. And they look at it that, okay, they have a lot of people before me, before I joined that association, so they have to do something. But say, we need you to do something somewhere. So we were about, okay, where will you fit? What do you know? So if you are into science, let's see what you can do. So I was actually someone to start from para, and then that was how it came out. So I was pushed there, but I know that with my career outside playing table tennis, I could fit into any association. And not only being on that association, you also want to see an association where you can help them out, and helping in terms of management, in terms of scientific application to promoting the athlete's ability to winning. Some people call it podium performance. Yeah. And what is podium performance? When you have to discuss that podium performance and just to drive the association forward.
Okay, so let's talk about the knowledge you bring actually to para swimming. You dive into scientific knowledge of how the athletes train, their body mass, the waves of the water. What role does that play in terms of developing athletes? Why did you focus on that knowledge aspect of para swimming?
Science of sport, you want to choose whether you want to do nutrition, physiology, biomechanics. So I focus on biomechanics and neurological application, then physiology. So all those aspects are just about 30% at the highest level of my career. But all the other 75 to 95% is biomechanics. So in biomechanics you have the kinematic and the kinetics. And when you're talking about the kinematics, you're talking about the force, what caused something to happen. So you will use a lot of equipment, tools to do that, to collect data.
Yes, analyze the data.
Analyze data. But when you're talking about the kinematics, you're talking about the video analysis. Is so, to me, it's like I'm not working, but it's huge. Because you're talking about the kinematic, you're talking about the video, you want to extract some information out of it. You're talking about the angle, you're talking about the angle, you're talking about, then I can manipulate the velocity in it, then I can manipulate the speed, you can calculate the speed by the distance that you covered. Then that one you are using more and parts of physiology ability to it. So that has been what I've been doing.
Some are blind, some are deaf. How do you analyze how these athletes perform, and how do you analyze the results they turn out, and who do you think has the potential to excel when it comes to swimming? And also, in fact, the questions are so many because they have to know the particular swimming event to actually partake in.
There is one thing that is called classification. The classification and the categorization, they go hand in hand. When I started biomechanics, I didn't like the fact that my my lecturer there, she's the professor, Kerry Dees, and also Dr. Siobhan Strike. They were both active. One is active in able body, the other in disability.
Okay.
So I was summoned. In fact, they told me, Bossa, you can't finish this master's and go to PhD without going to Stoke Mandeville. So in Stoke Mandeville, you see various...
What country is that?
It's in London.
Okay.
It's in the UK, but it's a city, it's a town.
Okay.
So you go there, they're known for disability sports.
Okay.
So I went there. There you have to study the classifications, the categorizations, and you have to come out and say, with this type, they will come into the lab, I will measure them, I will carry out some biomechanical data, I will collect the data, I will go about to analyze it, and now I will compare it with able-bodied.
Okay.
And all this is to see how you can use the able-bodied to increase the performance, improve the performance of the disabled.
Okay.
So, and you use it in various types, and they call it application. So the application means you could excel, come what may, in any sport, be it able-bodied or the ones with different disabilities.
Okay.
So we're talking about swimming now.
Okay.
You know that the biomechanic of swimming is basically based on a lot of things. You are looking at the kinematic, like I told you. You want to look at the variables. You want to look at the kinematic and the kinetic and the neurological impact on it, because they have less ability to do the able-bodied. Then you are talking about the water is stagnated, it's 50 meters, and it's moving. So in any sport, there is a friction. You know that?
Yeah.
There is now, it's not the hair you are dragging out with the buoyancy. The buoyance is actually the evidence how you drag the flow of the water. Then you are now going to look at the height of the athlete, at the disability of the athlete.
Okay.
So the parameters you collect from swimming as a whole, you need to know that your arms are very important.
Very important, in swimming,
your knees are very important. So in S10, you have those with arms, the limbs, upper limbs and the lower limbs. Then you go to S6, S7, those like S5, S6 particularly, they are those with short status.
Okay.
And you're talking about the short status, what type? Did they have limbs or not? All their limbs will be short, and some will have the upper limbs and the knee, but the knee will be short. Then there is no other tibia limb, because you have the femoral at the before the knee, then the tibia, then you have the ankle. You have all the muscle gastrocnemion. You don't have it. You don't have the actually tendon. You can't drive.
Yeah, so they definitely going to have different training techniques.
Different training techniques, and the ability of someone like me is to come and tell the world that, okay, I know that with these parameters absent, I could, with other coaches, we come together to bring a particular atmosphere, a conducive atmosphere where we can say we can help you improve your performance by investigating on this and that. We'll decide the best, because you are analyzing it. They in their head, they can see, you're thinking, this is what I have to do. And it is you that will tell them how fast they have to do it. And it is not only how fast they have to do it, in work, when you're working, step by step, 3 steps make 1 circle. So in swimming, how many steps could make a stroke to propel the body? Then you want to talk about the velocity, the ability to beat water with speed. Then you want to see what forces the drag is bringing in, and you are using a 2D analysis.
Oh wow.
So when you're using a 2D analysis, some will be static. I need some static, like when you're going into the water, and I need to see how you go into the water. So with this group of people, you see them, instead of that gliding in the water, they are tapping in the water.
Yeah.
Then you have to tell them what to do. You have to tell them what they're doing. You can't tell them. A coach must know how to talk.
This is a sport that's in the Commonwealth Games, if I'm correct.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, but Nigeria, what's the chance for we to really develop this sport in different states? From the platform you've created already, you've had this competition. You saw the number of athletes, and of course we still have more, but they need to have the information to come out for more competitions and more training.
If we could continue with this and add more to it, we could be able to win a medal at the Commonwealth.
Okay.
Why? When you have athletes, all you need is what we started.
Yeah.
They have the constant training, this constant intervention, training intervention. That is when you will be able to come together and say, okay, we don't want to participate in 5 categories. We have classes that we can stay in 2 classes, and those classes now you will see that even in a class like the blind, you have partial blind, fully blind, partial blind affected with joint, partial blind affected with both joints, partial blind affected with. So you have about 10 categories in one class. So you will now say what you want to. So for now, what we are thinking of is to start a medium like this, and also look at how we can continue it and better it, not going back. And then with these athletes, it will be difficult to say you want to have athletes that start training today and you are taking them to the Commonwealth Games tomorrow. But we had 2 or 3 athletes that started to swim 2 months back, and they were able to perfect the stroke.
Oh wow.
Yes, and they could swim in the middle, and they couldn't stand or fail to complete. They completed it. The first time they completed 4th, the second time 3rd. So when you see a rapid increase and improvement in an athlete's performance, you will know that you have an athlete that is trainable.
Thank you so much for being our guest today, Bose Kaffo.
You're welcome.
That was Bose Kaffo, Vice President of Nigerian Para Swimming Federation, of course, giving the athletes opportunity to take their sport to the next level with the scientific knowledge of the sport, trying to understand the different disabilities of the athletes, and of course bringing the best out of them. It's been a discussion segment today on the program. We'll take a short break now.